Welcome back to Cashegories, where we dive into the latest financial news, insights, and strategies. Today we're examining the economic policies of the two major candidates for the 2024 presidential election, Donald Trump and Joe Biden. How will their plans impact the economy, the markets, and your investments? Let's break it down, and please comment your opinions on whose vision is better below. First up, Donald Trump. His economic policies aim to supercharge the economy through lower taxes and deregulation. Let's dive into the details of his key proposals and their potential impacts on the economy. Tax Cuts 2.0. 1. Overview. Trump plans to further reduce corporate and individual tax rates. 1. This builds on the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act of 2017, which lowered the corporate tax rate from 35% to 21% and provided significant tax relief for individuals. 2. Potential impacts. Corporate sector. Lower corporate taxes increase after tax profits, which can lead to higher dividends, increased stock buybacks, and more capital for reinvestment. This stimulates economic growth and can boost the stock market. Small businesses. Reduced tax burdens allow small businesses to reinvest more profits into growth, leading to job creation and innovation. Individuals. Lower individual tax rates increase disposable income, encouraging consumer spending, which drives demand and supports economic expansion. Criticisms. Opponents argue that further tax cuts could exacerbate income inequality and significantly increase the federal deficit if not offset by spending cuts. Deregulation. 1. Overview. Trump aims to continue his push to reduce federal regulations, particularly in the energy, financial, and manufacturing sectors. 1. This includes rolling back regulations imposed during the Obama administration and streamlining approval processes for new projects. 2. Potential impacts. Business environment. Deregulation reduces compliance costs and administrative burdens, allowing businesses to operate more efficiently and profitably. Innovation. By easing restrictions, especially in the tech and energy sectors, businesses can innovate more freely, leading to advancements and new market opportunities. Economic growth. Less regulation can lead to increased investment in economic activity, boosting GDP growth. Criticisms. Critics argue that excessive deregulation could compromise environmental standards and consumer protections, leading to long-term societal costs. Trade policies. 1. Overview. Trump's America First trade policies focus on renegotiating trade deals and imposing tariffs to protect American industries and reduce trade deficits. 1. This includes maintaining tariffs on Chinese imports and renegotiating agreements like NAFTA, now USMCA. 2. Potential impacts. Domestic manufacturing. Tariffs can protect domestic industries from foreign competition, supporting American jobs and production. Trade balance. Reducing trade deficits can strengthen the domestic economy by encouraging the consumption of American-made goods. Economic nationalism. Emphasizing American production can lead to a more self-reliant economy, reducing dependence on foreign supply chains. Criticisms. Tariffs can lead to higher costs for consumers and businesses reliant on imported goods, potentially sparking trade wars and retaliatory measures from other countries. Energy independence. 1. Overview. Trump's policies promote the use of fossil fuels and expand drilling and mining activities to ensure energy self-sufficiency. 1. This includes opening federal lands and offshore areas for oil and gas exploration. 2. Potential impacts. Energy sector. Increased production of oil, gas, and coal can lead to lower energy costs, boosting economic growth and creating jobs in energy-dependent regions. Economic stability. Energy independence can reduce vulnerability to global oil market fluctuations and geopolitical tensions, stabilizing the domestic economy. Job creation. Expanding the energy sector can create high-paying jobs and stimulate local economies, particularly in rural areas. Criticisms. Environmental concerns are significant, with potential impacts on climate change, air and water quality, and public health. Immigration policies. 1. Overview. Implementing stricter immigration controls, including building a border wall, increasing border security, and reducing legal immigration. 1. The aim is to protect American jobs and maintain wage levels. 2. Potential impacts. Labor market. Restricting immigration can reduce competition for jobs, potentially leading to higher wages for American workers. Economic growth. Controlling illegal immigration can reduce the strain on public resources and social services. National security. Enhanced border security can address concerns about illegal activities and improve national safety. Criticisms. Reducing immigration can lead to labor shortages in industries reliant on immigrant workers, such as agriculture, construction, and technology, potentially slowing economic growth. Trump's focus is on creating a business-friendly environment to drive growth and innovation. Let's explore how these policies could impact the economy in more detail. Lowering taxes can indeed stimulate business investment and consumer spending, leading to economic growth. For example, after the 2017 tax cuts, we saw a surge in corporate profits and stock buybacks, which boosted the stock market. However, these policies need to be balanced with fiscal responsibility to avoid increasing the federal deficit. Deregulation can reduce costs for businesses, making them more competitive globally. For instance, the energy sector benefited significantly from reduced regulations, leading to increased oil and gas production. Yet, the environmental impact of deregulation is a concern that needs addressing. Trump's trade policies aim to protect American industries by imposing tariffs on foreign goods. This can help domestic manufacturers, but the higher costs of imports can affect consumers and businesses that rely on these goods. The trade war with China, for example, led to higher prices for many consumer products. Energy independence through expanded drilling and mining can lower energy costs and create jobs. However, this approach faces criticism for its environmental impact. Balancing economic growth with environmental sustainability remains a critical challenge. Stricter immigration policies aim to protect American jobs and wages. While this can reduce competition for jobs, it may also lead to labor shortages in sectors that rely heavily on immigrant workers. The agricultural industry, for instance, has faced challenges due to labor shortages, impacting production and prices. Now, let's turn to Joe Biden. His economic policies focus on government intervention and social programs. Here are the highlights of his key proposals and their potential impacts on the economy. Build Back Better Plan. 1. Overview. Investing in infrastructure, clean energy, and innovation to create jobs and modernize the economy. 1. This includes significant spending on roads, bridges, broadband, and renewable energy projects. 2. Potential impacts. Job creation. Large-scale infrastructure projects can create millions of jobs, stimulating economic activity and reducing unemployment. Economic growth. Modernizing infrastructure can improve efficiency, reduce transportation costs, and enhance productivity, leading to long-term economic growth. Sustainability. Investing in clean energy and innovation supports the transition to a greener economy, potentially reducing long-term environmental costs. Criticisms. The substantial government spending required for these projects can increase the national debt and may lead to higher taxes. Tax increases on the wealthy. 1. Overview. Proposing higher taxes on corporations and individuals earning over $400,000 to fund social programs and reduce income inequality. 1. This includes raising the corporate tax rate to 28% and increasing capital gains taxes for high earners. 2. Potential impacts. Revenue generation. Higher taxes on the wealthy can generate significant revenue to fund public investments in healthcare, education, and infrastructure. Income redistribution. Addressing income inequality by redistributing wealth can support social stability and increase consumer spending. Investment impact. Higher corporate and capital gains taxes may discourage investment, potentially slowing economic growth and reducing stock market performance. Criticisms. Critics argue that higher taxes on the wealthy and corporations can reduce incentives for entrepreneurship and investment, leading to slower economic growth. Climate policies. 1. Overview. Aggressive action on climate change, including rejoining the Paris Agreement, investing in renewable energy, and aiming for net zero emissions by 2050. 1. This includes incentives for clean energy development and stricter regulations on carbon emissions. 2. Potential impacts. Environmental benefits. Reducing carbon emissions and investing in renewable energy can mitigate climate change and reduce environmental degradation. Economic opportunities. The transition to a green economy can create new industries and jobs in renewable energy, energy efficiency, and green technologies. Long-term savings. Investing in sustainability can reduce long-term costs associated with climate change, such as natural disasters and health impacts. Criticisms. The transition to renewable energy can lead to higher short-term costs for businesses and consumers, particularly in energy-intensive industries. Healthcare expansion. Overview. Strengthening the Affordable Care Act, ACA, and introducing a public health insurance option to ensure broader coverage and reduce healthcare costs. This includes expanding Medicaid and negotiating drug prices. Potential impacts. Access to care. Expanding healthcare coverage can reduce the number of uninsured Americans, leading to better health outcomes and reduced emergency care costs. Economic stability. Lower healthcare costs can increase disposable income for households, boosting consumer spending and economic growth. Business impact. Reducing healthcare costs for employees can lower business expenses and improve competitiveness. Criticisms. Expanding public healthcare options may lead to increased government spending and higher taxes. Additionally, some argue that increased regulation and government involvement in healthcare could reduce innovation and efficiency in the sector. 1. Labor and education. Overview. Supporting unions, increasing the minimum wage to $15 per hour, and investing in education and workforce development. This includes funding for community colleges, vocational training, and apprenticeships. Potential impacts. Wage growth. Increasing the minimum wage can boost incomes for low-wage workers, reducing poverty and increasing consumer spending. Workforce development. Investing in education and training can improve the skills of the labor force, enhancing productivity and competitiveness. Labor rights. Supporting unions can strengthen worker protections and bargaining power, potentially leading to better working conditions and higher wages. Criticisms. Critics argue that increasing the minimum wage can lead to higher labor costs for businesses, potentially resulting in reduced hiring, increased automation, and higher prices for consumers. Biden's strategy involves significant government intervention and spending, aiming for long-term structural changes. Let's analyze the potential impacts in more detail. The Build Back Better plan focuses on large-scale infrastructure investments, which can create millions of jobs and stimulate economic growth. For example, upgrading roads, bridges, and broadband infrastructure can enhance productivity and efficiency, leading to long-term economic benefits. However, the substantial government spending required for these projects can increase the national debt and may necessitate higher taxes. Increasing taxes on the wealthy aims to generate revenue for public investments and reduce income inequality. While this can support social stability and increase consumer spending, higher taxes on corporations and capital gains may discourage investment, potentially slowing economic growth and reducing stock market performance. Biden's climate policies emphasize transitioning to a green economy, which can create new industries and jobs in renewable energy and energy efficiency. This transition supports sustainability and reduces long-term environmental costs. However, the shift to renewable energy can lead to higher short-term costs for businesses and consumers, particularly in energy-intensive industries. Expanding healthcare coverage aims to reduce the number of uninsured Americans and lower healthcare costs. This can increase disposable income for households and reduce emergency care costs, boosting economic growth. However, expanding public healthcare options may lead to increased government spending and higher taxes. Supporting labor and education through higher minimum wages and investment in workforce development can boost incomes for low-wage workers and improve the skills of the labor force. This enhances productivity and competitiveness. However, higher labor costs for businesses may lead to reduced hiring, increased automation, and higher prices for consumers. So, how do these two candidates stack up against each other? Trump's policies focus on immediate economic stimulation through tax cuts and deregulation, creating a more business-friendly environment. Biden's approach involves significant government intervention and spending, aiming for long-term structural changes. From a capitalist perspective, Trump's policies may lead to higher economic growth, more job creation, and greater market efficiencies in the short term. Let's break down the key points of his approach. 1. Tax Cuts 2.0. Lower corporate and individual tax rates can boost investments, increase disposable income, and stimulate economic growth. 2. Deregulation. Reducing compliance costs and administrative burdens enhances business efficiency and competitiveness. 3. Trade policies. Protecting domestic industries through tariffs and renegotiated trade deals can reduce trade deficits and support American jobs. 4. Energy independence. Expanding fossil fuel production can lower energy costs, create jobs, and reduce reliance on foreign energy sources. 5. Immigration policies. Stricter immigration controls can protect American jobs and maintain wage levels. However, these policies also have potential drawbacks that need to be considered. 1. Tax cuts. Further tax cuts could increase the federal deficit if not offset by spending cuts. 2. Deregulation. Excessive deregulation could compromise environmental standards and consumer protections. 3. Trade policies. Tariffs can lead to higher costs for consumers and businesses reliant on imported goods, potentially sparking trade wars. 4. Energy independence. Environmental concerns regarding increased fossil fuel production need to be addressed. 5. Immigration policies. Reducing immigration could lead to labor shortages in industries reliant on immigrant workers. On the other hand, Biden's policies focus on long-term investments and addressing systemic inequalities. Let's break down the key points of his approach. 1. Build Back Better plan. Investing in infrastructure, clean energy, and innovation can create jobs, modernize the economy, and support long-term growth. 2. Tax increases on the wealthy. Higher taxes on corporations and the wealthy can generate revenue for public investments and reduce income inequality. 3. Climate policies. Aggressive action on climate change can mitigate environmental impacts and create new industries and jobs in renewable energy. 4. Healthcare expansion. Expanding healthcare coverage can reduce the number of uninsured Americans and lower healthcare costs, boosting economic stability. 5. Labor and education. Supporting unions, increasing the minimum wage, and investing in education can boost incomes, improve worker protections, and enhance productivity. However, these policies also have potential drawbacks that need to be considered. 1. Build Back Better plan. Substantial government spending required for these projects can increase the national debt and may necessitate higher taxes. 2. Tax increases on the wealthy. Higher taxes on corporations and capital gains may discourage investment, potentially slowing economic growth. 3. Climate policies. The transition to renewable energy can lead to higher short-term costs for businesses and consumers. 4. Healthcare expansion. Expanding public healthcare options may lead to increased government spending and higher taxes. 5. Labor and education. Higher labor costs for businesses may lead to reduced hiring, increased automation, and higher prices for consumers. It's a classic debate of short-term gains versus long-term sustainability. Trump's policies might boost economic activity quickly but could lead to higher deficits and environmental costs. Biden's approach aims for equitable growth and sustainability but requires substantial investment and faces implementation challenges. Both candidates have distinct visions for America's economic future. As investors and business owners, it's crucial to understand these differences and their potential impacts on the economy and markets. Trump's policies focus on creating a business-friendly environment with immediate economic stimulation through tax cuts and deregulation. Biden's policies aim for long-term structural changes through significant government intervention and spending. As we approach the 2024 election, consider how each candidate's policies align with your financial goals and values. Stay informed, stay engaged, and make your voice heard this election season. Thank you for watching Cashegories. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more financial insights, and hit the bell icon to stay updated. See you next time.